Hello everyone, welcome to another match of Mania Long Note Tournament 3. I'm Walmart5193. Joined with me today is Sparky. Hello Sparky, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Rolling right along this round of 32 weekend. Got some more exciting matchups to round out what has been a very electrifying set of matches. And right now, before you guys on screen, we have Ruka doing their warm-up. It looks like they're solo, but Halogen is actually in the lobby, just in slot 3 instead of slot 2. We'll get that corrected for you guys once the second warm-up gets loaded up here. A loser's bracket match. This one it's going to be very interesting to see who comes out on top. What do you think, Walmart?
I think it's gonna be extremely close. Two relatively roughly same skilled players coming in.
Yeah, for sure. Ruka, very proficient 7-key player, and we have seen a lot of that being the theme here. A lot of really good 7-key players having quite an affinity for long notes when dropped down to 4-key. So do see Halogen pop into the lobby in their correct slot. A very well-known commodity in the Mania community, has been quite the mainstay for quite a while, pushing their comfort zone a little bit. Definitely not a long note player by trade, but has definitely been making strides to cover up that little weak spot in their overall playing repertoire.
And we're gonna see lots of quite dense maps for the warm-ups. I think that was like an 8-star we just saw. Now we're seeing a near 6-star peak here.
Yeah, we're gonna see 1F1E33. This is a pretty popular map. There are quite a couple of rank sets and quite a couple of tournament sets of this song in particular. I can already think of 2 ranked ones off the top of my head. It'll be interesting to see what this version has in store for it.
As this is uprated as well, so this is gonna be quite something.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be... There's Halogen's warm-up. If I know them well enough, this is probably going to be a very physically demanding rice chart with a little bit of LN thrown in there just to get them into the mood of the match.
Yeah, as the maps are indeed getting more dense the more we carry on throughout this 30. So this is a pretty decent warm-up to go with, unless you have warmed up before you even join the multi.
Yeah, with them being as experienced as they are with tournaments, they already have their routine down when it comes to tournament preparation. So I'd imagine that it's basically just a little bit just to see where they're at in terms of their reading proficiency and whether or not they should adjust their strategy on the fly going into the match, and maybe just scouting out their opponent a little bit, seeing how much they can actually physically handle.
And we're seeing already both 2 very physical players coming, going one head-to-head.
Yeah, this is Halogen's bread and butter. Just physically demanding technical rice charts are what they have really built themselves a reputation for. And now as we see these little non-trivial LN sections start to come in, I think they were mentioning in the IRC before the map started, they used to hate this map because they couldn't play those LN bits, but now that they've rounded out their skill set just a little bit here, able to really take command of charts like this. It's going to be a couple of steps above. I mean, this is basically a predominantly rice chart. We wouldn't be seeing this in a tournament like this, but in a normal tournament setting with more traditional styled map pools, this would be something that they would be choosing to really show off what they're made of.
I would not be surprised to see some really dense maps being protected here, such as most likely the most best option would probably be something like me and you, or even Garland Saga being quite physical.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be very interesting to see which of those charts is probably going to be something more densely packed for Halogen for a Protect. Ruka, pretty much a well-rounded LN player. So it'd be interesting to see if they decide to stick with something like coordination and tech, or if they want to go for like the wildcard density route for their protects. And then the bans are going to be very interesting to see where the players' headspaces are when it comes to the actual map pick.
Maybe we could see something like probably one of the more shorter or even maybe longer maps, such as probably Pop Culture, or even maybe like something like Tech 3, I forgot the name of, Future Raver, I think.
I believe you're right, but that will do it for the warm-ups here. We will be going into the formal match proceedings. It'll be the rolls, followed by the protects and bans.
And we're gonna head into rolls, see who wants to protect and do everything first, actually. Halogen rolling an impressive 92 while ruka rolls at 22. Halogen wins the roll, but will they go first or give the opportunity to ruka to begin this round of 32 match?
Yeah, it's always a question of, do you want to set the tone or do you want to react to the tone being set by your opponent?
Yes, and it is Future Raver, the third. We could see lots of wild cards actually being protected here. Marionette is quite a dense map, and we're gonna see Density 3 Quantum actually being protected by Halogen.
Yeah. This has been a pretty popular protect and pick for quite a number of players so far this weekend, and we'll see what ruka decides to protect in kind. It'll be very interesting. We see a double density protect. I doubt it. I think they might want to opt for coordination or tech, but I could be wrong here.
Maybe, oh yeah, maybe we can see something like Melon or even Kawaii Cat Girl. Or we could stick with density and go with 7x3.
Yeah, there's so many options, especially when you're I would say slated to be the favorite. I think Haruka is the higher seed in this matchup.
We're gonna see
tech 1,
Kawaii Cat Girl.
Calling it right out of the gates here, so a bit of a dichotomy being set here. More technical, less physically demanding picks going to be the option for Ruka. Halogen going to opt to go for the more dense picks here. Going to be interesting to see what the bans are. Something like Synchronica Airline might be the route. Garland Saga and Melon are also... Ooh, Pop Culture. Okay, that's also a very tricky chart to get consistent runs on. Not surprised to see that getting eliminated here.
And we're gonna see, and we're gonna see Pop Culture get banned. One of the more longer maps, and I think those are the two longest maps being banned, so both players not feeling comfortable with the length. Pop Culture just clocking over 3 minutes, and Future Raver almost reaching that 4-minute mark.
Yeah, I don't blame either player for knocking out two of the longer picks in this pool. It's one of those things where once you introduce nerves, those long maps really do feel like a bit of a marathon when you really start getting deep into it, especially when you're on a really good FC run. You see that you're like at a 99.7, 99.8, and you just start second guessing yourself in what you're doing with regards to your release coordination, and that's when you start finding those misses. But with that being said, it looks like Viden is going to be the first pick for Halogen here, opting to stick with the density picks.
We are going head first into the density picks, and we're going to see the number one experience of both especially density long note related players going head to head in dense maps.
Yeah, these two, this might be a bit of a show from both of these players, especially once those actual density elements start to come out.
As we see, I think that was a 200 drop by Halogen early, but oh, and that's a drop from Halogen actually, but it's quite early game, so there's plenty of room for recovery as Halogen's almost climbing up to that 99 mark already. Ruka staying at a really good 99.8.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a road for recovery for Halogen here, already going into the second third of the map. You wonder if that was just maybe a shaky release on the end of that introductory section, but it looks like they've calmed down a little bit, back up to the 99% range, but right now Ruka holding it real rock steady, 99.79 for them as we make our way into the back half of the map.
As Halogen doubles the combo cap and almost reaching that 1000 combo map. That was just relatively 300 nodes into the map, so Halogen making quick recovery as Ruka still having the dominant lead against Halogen, but there is still more to go in this map. I think even just a couple misses or even a big rush of 200s from Ruka could swing that lead over.
Yeah, absolutely. Still a quarter of the map left to go. A bit of a small inverse section. Both players handling it very well as we transition into the last quarter of the map, and Ruka has climbed from their perch. Halogen finding another slider break towards this end of the section, only going to cushion the lead for Ruka, and it is well on course for them to pick up the first breakpoint in this match.
That was a more clean slider break than the first slider break that Halogen got, but it's not going to matter as Ruka will be taking the first point and the first break point, 994k to 970k. Not too bad. Only two 200s and a really good ratio coming from Ruka.
Yeah, there's not much Halogen could have done there, even if the run was clean. There's no way. I don't think their PBs were close enough to touch a 990 on a map like this. It would have to have been a Herculean performance, or at least catching a couple of breaks from Ruka to stand a chance on this pick. So Ruka up early, 1-0 with their pick coming up.
Quite a big score difference there, 24,603 difference, and that's going to frighten you if you find more drops like those in this map pool. As
Yeah,
this is Ruka's pick, and we're gonna see Garland Saga come out. We just went from density into the technical picks. Wanted to see how their long note tech abilities are going to balance out between both Ruka and Halogen. As we've seen in the warm-ups, they were performing outstandingly well on anything that was being thrown at them.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like this is, for some players, the easiest map to get a pretty good score on. Like, you can get some pretty consistent runs despite it being in the tech category. Once you get some of those awkward patterns down and memorized, it becomes a bit of a muscle memory run. So it'll be interesting to see how well prepared these players are as we enter Garland Saga.
This is one of the, yeah, like you mentioned earlier, this is one of the more easier maps. It's only just under 2 minutes long and only just 4.1 stars, so it's an easy map to get a free point on. As I think both players finding already having the beginning as a pretty good of a cakewalk, as this is pretty much the deficit of the entire map. Just these releases are going to take a toll on your accuracy if you underperform quite well a lot in this map.
Yeah, for sure. And Halogen finding a bit of a misread on the transition into the second quarter of the map, already finding a slider break. They were managing to maintain a pretty decent accuracy, leveling out at around 99.4, but falling from that perch. Ruka once again holding this lead, 99.8, and basically being steady as a constant stream of 320s coming out. And those short, I think those are shield patterns, not troubling them too much as we progress into the back half of the map.
As we head into a more release and short LN release timing section, as Halogen seems to be finding a bit of redemption, finding a little 200 there, but despite that, climbing up to a 99.4 as Ruka still has that dominant 99.8 as we're reaching the final third of the map. Ruka having probably about a 10k, probably 15,000 point lead, as Halogen finds more 200s, dropping their accuracy down to 99.3.
Yeah, right now the name of the game is Halogen holding on for as long as they can, trying to keep their accuracy as close as they can to maybe capitalize on any mistakes coming out of Ruka. But the consistency from Ruka so far this match is going to make it a bit of an uphill battle as the match progresses. Last sliver of map still to go, and Ruka's still in that 99.8 mark. A couple of 200s coming out here at the ending, but that is going to be a tiny blemish as they capitalize on that breakpoint. Another 990k score, and making it 2-0 now.
Yeah, both really good scores coming out of both players.
Yeah, it's just that ratio difference, the minute differences here between the 300s, but then the 200s start to come into play, and you start to see where the comfort levels really lie. Ruka a lot more comfortable on those staggered releases
Yeah,
overall.
just a 34-300 difference, but those 200s can speak for themselves. Ruka only having two 200s, while Halogen had a little bit of a rough count on their 200s, getting 150 and also a couple 100s, and I think that was 17 200s.
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to find some section, like it just takes one bad section to really throw off runs when you're this tightly matched against your opponent, where you saw that slider break and then afterwards just picking up 200 here and there, whereas Ruka was able to keep it locked steady. And it looks like Halogen going to opt to stick with that lower half of the map. Well, it is going to be me and you coming out here.
I think this is one of the more comfortable picks with Halogen, but Ruka also, I think with their warm-up, Ruka had played a really heavy release dense map that was like 8 stars, so that this could contribute to their insane play with especially the density side, because this map is very physical, or with the physicality side of things, because this map is really physical, so I won't be surprised if this gets really close, especially near the end.
Yeah, for sure. Remains to be seen. But it looks like the players are ready. We are going to get this map underway.
As already, we are seeing very close scores. Wildcard definitely being the most comfortable type of map sets for both of these players, as Halogen has that slight lead over accuracy.
Yeah, with these shorter LNs, you can kind of get away with treating them like rice patterns, can kind of forego concentrating too much on the release element and just kind of let them run, and that is really playing to their advantage right now. It is about 0.2% the advantage for Halogen going into the second quarter of the map, as Ruka stays within striking distance, ready to capitalize on any mistakes from Halogen here.
Yeah, Halogen trying their very hardest to not find any slip-ups, as Ruka is really hoping, praying that Halogen finds a little slump in their gameplay, maybe releasing too early or too late, as that lead is slightly blue, giving a little bit of a lead to Halogen, as Ruka is not too far behind, almost tied up with Halogen's accuracy, as that lead shrunk just a little bit.
Yeah, they're trading 300s back and forth. Both players making it through that inverse section relatively unscathed. We see the lead start to shrink just ever so slightly. It's gonna come down to the back half of the map that's gonna make or break this performance from both players. Halogen finding the slider break.
Halogen finding that slump that Ruka needed, and that lead immediately turns red. But not much of the map to go. We only have just barely have a third left of the map, as Halogen is going to have to capitalize off of something large from Ruka in order to swing that lead back. That slider break was not too bad, only dropping a bit of Halogen's accuracy, but the damage has been done.
Yeah, when the matchups are this tight, even tiny slip-ups like that can be the difference between winning a point and giving over the breakpoint. And as we make our way into the last sliver of the map, not a lot of tricks left up this map sleeve for the players to worry about, and that is going to help Ruka solidify this cushion that they have built up. It is about 0.1% the lead now, as everything starts to settle back down, and it is going to be, unless there's a late break here,
Ruka will be taking, I believe that was a breakpoint, 992 to 987k.
Oh, that is not that big of a difference between the two of them. Just that one little slip of 100, 150, blemishing the performance. But I think that is that is a really big personal best from Halogen there.
That's only a yeah. That is only a 5.5k lead from Ruka. So that late game drop from Halogen is what gave Ruka that insane or that jump in lead.
Yeah, I think honestly, if you get rid of the slider break and the 100, I think Ruka still takes it by the slimmest of margins just based on ratio. And now Ruka going to go with density 3, so Quantum picking
I believe-
Halogen's Protect here.
Yeah, picking Halogen's Protect here actually. I was not surprised. Actually, I'm actually quite surprised that they did not pick Kawaii Catgirl Gift.png, which was their Protect. But this map is only just a minute and 36 seconds long, so you don't really have a lot of room for any mistakes. You're gonna have to be picture perfect on this map, especially if you're if you're down 3-0 and this is your opponent's potentially your opponent's last pick if you can't make up on your next pick. So this is something to go for if you want to get a quick and easy point, especially both these players with really good density abilities.
Yeah, both players giving themselves the bit of respect here, showing that they both enjoy this map. Nothing more than should be read into this pick coming out from Ruka.
As Halogen found quite a sloppy beginning, but already redeeming themselves as they went from a low, like almost like a 97 to 99.5. And like I mentioned earlier, this map is probably one of the more shorter maps in the pool. As Ruka having a dominating 99.8 lead, but I think that was a 200, and that's going to give the lead to Halogen as we're already a quarter in.
Yeah, not a lot of room for error on a map like this. Singular 200s can be the difference maker in this pick, and both players starting to climb in accuracy, recovering from those earlier drops. Halfway through the map already, and we are about 0.05% separation. Any 200 drops this late on can start to swing this match wildly in either player's favor.
As I think that might have been a 200 from Halogen, as Ruka is capitalizing on those 200s, a 99.87 to 99.77, but that lead is actually starting to flicker now. Anything could happen. Something's gonna have to happen on this final quarter. Ruka has to go and just tower through these long notes, as Halogen is not too far behind. Halogen is gonna have to capitalize on anything that Ruka does, but I don't think that's gonna be the case as the map is coming to an end. Ruka seeming to find more accuracy gain, but Halogen's losing a bit of accuracy, and that's going to do it, not by much. 995k to 991k.
Oh my goodness, the ratio difference between these two players, the finest of margins, the fact that only 6 200s and a handful of 300s make up 4,000 points of difference. And Halogen taking a timeout here, going to take an opportunity to basically slow the tempo down and see what their options are moving into what could potentially be their last pick in this tournament. Now 4-0 in favor of Ruka.
Yeah, just barely a 4,000 point difference. I think if you were to get rid of those 200s, Halogen would have had the lead just by a slight margin.
It would have been very close. It would have had to have been a V1SS to make it basically like hundreds of points of a margin between the two players.
Halogen and Halogen, in retaliation for their Protect being taken by Ruka, they're gonna go after Ruka's Protect, which is Kawaii Catgirl Gift.png.
Oh, they made a correction. It is actually going to be mLN coming out here.
Oh, mLN coming in actually. So still technical, but not Kawaii.
Not as kawaii indeed.
As this is one of the more I think this is also one of the more shorter maps, but also one of the more extreme technical picks. You do not have lots of room for slipping up, because if you slip up lots in this map, it's over. And this is match point for ruka, so Halogen is gonna have to fight all the way in order to stay alive and force a tiebreaker if they want to keep their game. But as it stands, this is going to be probably one of the closest matchups we have ever seen, especially on this map, both players being extremely well technical players. So something on a map like mLN would be something to see between these two players.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be... I think this is going to be a battle of keeping composure. I don't think nerves are really affecting either player. I think they're pretty comfortable in this lobby, but I think the composure of being able to read through some of these more technical patterns and the experience between the two players in terms of their long note play is going to start to come to the forefront a little bit as we make our way into the start of Milan. A pretty decent start for both players overall, 99.8 apiece. That's going to start evening out as this map progresses. There's a lot to take in and a lot of choke points littered throughout a map like this.
Yeah, Halogen already capitalizing on that lead, I think, with that drop in accuracy from ruka. Halogen with a 99.83, while ruka is not too far behind with 99.78. As we're already reaching that quarter of map in, you're gonna have to power through this entire map without mistakes if you're going up against someone like ruka, who especially enjoys capitalizing on mistakes. Same thing can be said for Halogen. If ruka finds any mistakes at all, Halogen can capitalize on that, as these two players are not shy of doing so.
For sure, back half the map still to come, and Ruka's actually the one taking more damage to their accuracy, starting to climb up here, but did find a rush of 300s going into the second third of that map.
I think that might have been a 200 from Halogen. I think I might have saw
it tied now.
Oh, it is. Oh my goodness, it is basically a tie coming here. But Halogen finding some availability, as I think
both of them trade again.
Yeah, both being traded, as that lead is slightly red going to ruka. Halogen is going to have to find something to capitalize on as they are nearing the end of the map.
Oh my goodness, it's 400%.
Get those fingers crossed, because Halogen has not much room. They're going to have to capitalize on something at the end, as these releases are not forgiving. And we are reaching the final section of the map. Ruka not finding anything in their way to be stopped, and I think that's going to do it. Ruka coming on top, but not much. That is
a very tight margin. Oh, it was a rush of 200s towards the middle of the map. That was Halogen undoing. They had the ratio. They just didn't have the 200 count on their side.
If they lowered their 200 count by probably like 3, probably down to 9, or maybe even like 6, if they would have taken it, that was only a 2.2k lead to ruka, as Halogen is sadly eliminated from the tournament, as ruka will be moving on into the losers round of 16.
Yeah, for sure. Very well played from ruka. And good job for Halogen. Like I was saying before, Halogen very much known as a Rice player, really pushing the limits of what their comfort zone is with long notes. And I think they've surprised themselves, and the gains that they have made since coming into this tournament. Hopefully they've had a enjoyable experience. Maybe not the ending they would have wanted, but overall, at least they gave it the shot. And